Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be covering dealing with world mind. I've got several beings with me today. One of them is Lord Metatron. Some call him Archangel Metatron, some call him Master Metatron. You can choose what works best for your brain and your mind. And I've also got my guardian angel John here today, and it's about world mind. It's so important to understand right now. The collective unconsciousness of humanity is in a very difficult place. On the whole. However, the light working community right now, that's you and me and all the other beings that are here to help bring light and wisdom and knowledge and truth and freedom of expression to humanity. It's important. And if you wouldn't mind, just take a moment to take this video and this link to this video and send it out to any groups or individuals that you think that might benefit from this. I don't know about you guys, but I have been really feeling the collective energies. Norm and I last night, we were baking organic cookies and we just realized the global collective unconsciousness is really doing a huge purging right now. And we could really feel the fear and the angst and all that stuff going on. And what Metatron and the others wanted us to be reminded of is how do we actually cope with, how do we actually deal with this collective energy, and how do we differentiate ourselves from the fear, the anger, the guilt, the shame that's collectively being purged, because it is. They're saying it's being purged from our collective unconsciousness. It's the only way we're going to be able to move forward as a species. We all go together. We all work together on this. So let me just share this out. What a gorgeous day. Beautiful snow falling here in Toronto. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your day. It's just, yeah. Being able to differentiate your mind, your thoughts, your emotions from the rest. Because there's a lot of people on the planet right now that are angry and afraid and disappointed and hurt. There's a lot of that energy on the planet right now. And the light worker community, those that are conscious and aware, it's really important we remember that this is the time that we need to hold the highest, brightest possible sensation of love, compassion, wisdom, understanding, patience. That's a big one for me, patience. That we need to really work hard at that. So good morning, everybody. So Metatron came in this morning and said, this is the big thing. Right now is the time. This is go time for us as a species. Regardless of what your position is socially or economically, politically in this world or religiously, no matter what your position is, there's certain realities that you cannot ignore nor deny any further. One of those is that your thoughts and your emotions are organizing the physical conditions that you see around you. All of your behaviors, all of your creations are effects, movements of your awareness onto one thing or another, setting in motion qualities of energy and matter that produce very precise experiences in your experience of time and space. The goal now is to become very conscious of this reality and to choose thoughts, to choose ideas, to choose emotions that will carry forth desired outcomes for you and everyone. Many of you are getting caught up in the collective mind. This will serve nobody any good, as there are those that lead and there are those that follow. There always is that dynamic. There are those that know and those that do not know. And you can consider yourself among those that know when you understand that your thought and your emotion organizes matter in either patterns of coherence or incoherence. There is no in-between ground on any of this. There is simply one creation or another, a creation that is desirably pleasurable and a creation that is desirably suffering. You have choice, but the quality of your thoughts and your emotion organizes the geometry of matter into the experiences of time and space as you understand them to be. We are simply here to help you become aware that you are in charge of your creation. We will not create your creation for you, as we are creating our own creation, while we also supervise and observe and instruct those who are willing to receive instruction. But the geometry, which is the experience you are having in time and space, the living organic experience, is what I refer to as the geometry, which is the organization of your thoughts and emotions into very precise conditions of experiencing matter. The geometry can be very coherent or incoherent. There are huge unconscious realms of your collective mind that require conscious direction. And that conscious direction comes from a higher vibrational potential. And a higher vibrational potential is a conscious potential, one that is aware that it is aware, one that is aware that it is a creative influence on time, space, and matter. And is not that what you are? Are you not a conscious and deliberate influencer of time, space, and matter? You do not have to have lots of money to influence matter, time, or space. You do not have to be in the most perfect of health to influence time, space, or matter. You simply have to know that your thoughts and your emotions, those energies you carry in your heart and radiate out from your physical being, are organizing the conditions of your world. Whether you are aware of it immediately or not, your thoughts of love and joy versus your thoughts of fear and uncertainty create very different results in this collective experience. And if you are conscious of what you are choosing, then we would strongly recommend that you would choose concepts and energies that would sustain and perpetuate the quality of your life to a higher estate. It's interesting, Metatron is usually very forceful. Today, he's just very clear. He says that with the knowledge and the wisdom that's being downloaded to humans right now is available for everybody. It's being downloaded simultaneously to everybody. And it's important to cultivate a level of awareness to receive that which you do not know. Yes, thanks, John. My guardian angel John's been here too, and he's saying it's important that you start to consider information that you do not know rather than information that you do know. That some of you do not know that you are influencing the entire planet with your thoughts and emotions. Some of you do not know that every random idea in your mind or any errant behavior causes very specific results for everyone. You are in this ocean of life together. And as you move through life, you create movements and energy. And these movements of energy affect and influence all around you. Yes. They're also saying it's really important to understand that time and space, thought is, yes, time and space are not your masters, they are your servants. But you must become conscious of this fact. And that your emotion is what is organizing it. Your emotion is what is organizing matter, time, and space. Exciting. Thank you. So the big message, huge collective fear, anger being released, uncertainty. And it is so important at this time that we get to a place in consciousness, deliberately, intentionally, that you become aware. Wait, I'm picking up these emotional energies. Like I said, we were baking cookies in the kitchen last night, and we both suddenly became aware that we could feel this collective energy around us, and immediately we went into a place of love and grace, not letting our bodies and minds get caught up in that energy. And it can be, especially for people who are high-level empaths or emotionally extremely sensitive emotionally, or just of a sensitive nature altogether, to begin to learn to differentiate between the emotions collectively being transmitted around you and how you can influence them. Yes. Metatron is saying it's really important to understand that you are an agent of influence over time, space, matter, thought, and emotion. You are an influencer over them. You do not simply have to remain subjective to them. The moment you are aware of your emotional energy, that is when you may assert an influence. The moment you are aware of an emotional energy, you may assert an influence consciously. The only way you can affect deliberate change is through being conscious and aware. To be deliberately conscious, when you are aware you're picking up this vibration of fear, then you can turn around and engage that energy with love. You can direct love into it and alter that energy. You can transform or transmute those energies. And you can feel it right away. As you feel it when we come into your presence, you can feel our presence. Your willingness to become conscious of certain emotional qualities, at the moment of your becoming conscious of them, you are in the position to assert a new influence over those energies. And we see everything in this realm and all realms as energy. And the sooner you recognize that your emotion is divine energy in motion, it can be either good or bad. The Creator does not judge you whether you make it good or bad. It simply says, here, I offer this energy called my life to you, and you may use it as you wish. I, the Lord, the Creator, create both the good and the evil. And you have choice over this. So getting to that place in consciousness where you become aware of fear or anger, at the moment you're aware of emotion, that's the moment you have choice to recreate it, to transform, transmute, or change it. And Metatron's really big on transmuting energy from the levels he's working on. There are dimensions above us and dimensions below us. There are alternate verses, multiverses, all these things exist. They're real things. When you start to recognize what your role is in this one, and you learn to assert proper control, you start to become aware of other things. You start to become aware of other beings. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been really, with Metatron and John here today, I don't feel it as much. But last night, I was really aware of the collective consciousness of anger and uncertainty on the planet right now. And it's important you try not to let yourself react to it. When you're aware of it, you have choice. This is so important, what they're saying. The moment you are aware of a quality of emotion, you are in a position to assert a new awareness into that energy so as to change it from the state that it is into a state that it can be. So if you experience anger, you may choose to move into a thought of patience and calm and watch, for the anger will become still. Emotion are energy. They are your servants. They are not your master. But you must know that you are the master in order to direct the servant. So when you feel these collective energies surging up and down as they get purged from your collective unconsciousness, you have a chance to recreate them, to reorganize them into mediums of expression that are significantly more pleasing than the ones that you may be indulging in at this time in your individual experiences. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's remember, if you like what you're seeing, please remember to share this video out, subscribe to the channel, encourage other people to watch it. We are in such a powerful time in our species history right now. And those of us that are awake and aware can make change. Those who are not awake and aware will have a difficult time with this because they think life is happening to them. But what we don't realize is we are what's happening to life. You know, your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, they make things happen, whether in your immediate time space or somewhere else in time space. You put out a vibration of love, you don't have to know who's going to get affected of it or what's going to happen because of it. It's love. Love creates a very different expression in time and space than does fear. And it's really important to not get hooked into the collective unconscious energies that are being liberated from the human field, but to actually, when you become aware of the fear, the anger, the uncertainty, when it comes your way, make a conscious, they're just saying to make a conscious, deliberate decision to change that energy, to deliberately change the energy. put your light, your joy, your love into it and watch it transform. Cool. Wonderful. Yes. I didn't have dealing with collective minds, and that's what we are. We are literally, as a species, we are dealing with collective human unconsciousness right now. Yeah, it's really important that you understand there's so much collective unconscious stuff. Yeah, they're saying from like tens of thousands of years ago, human collective unconscious emotional energies that are being released. This transition we're making, this ascension we're making as a species, as individuals, requires that we release that which does not serve us, that which anchors us to matter and matter, time and space. When we break our attachment, that we're free. They're saying when we break our attachment to the emotional currents from our past, we liberate ourselves into the creative possibilities of the present, which are limitless, right? Let's take a few questions. So just for those of you that are joining, I've got some call him Archangel Metatron. I call him Lord Metatron. But Metatron and my guardian angel John, and there are other beings that, as always, there are other beings around. For whatever reason, I don't try to question, I just allow. So we'll take some questions. Yeah, so we're dealing with collective minds as the subject. How do we deal with these energies that are coming? And what's most important, the minute, what they said just a few moments ago, the minute you become aware of any negative energy, fear, anger, guilt, shame, uncertainty, any negative, the minute you become aware of it, you are now in a creative position to alter it or change it. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Hi. Hi there. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Here's the questions. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Danielle. Hello, Patricia. Skyheart. Hello, Lauren. Question from Skyheart. I know our thoughts, actions, influences matter, but then why sometimes do we get the opposite to what we wanted? Timelines or contracts? Great question. And that was actually answered a couple minutes ago. The moment you become aware of these opposing energies, that's when you get to recreate it. It's like somebody's just handed you, yes, I'll use that example. Think of emotional energy as like cosmic cookie dough. We can shape emotion into expressions of joy. We can shape emotion into expressions of sorrow. It's cosmic cookie dough. So when you become aware of this energy of anger or whatever that negative vibrational perception you get, it's cosmic cookie. Somebody just handed you Play-Doh, and now you can reshape it. So you feel the anger, move into a state of love and grace. The minute you start to put your love and grace towards that negative emotional energy, it begins to change. You're literally starting to reshape it with your thought and your intention to change and impart a vibration of love into this energy that you're calling fear or whatever that negative vibration is. So become very mindful that when you experience negative emotional charges, whether they're coming from the collective or from within yourself, because we're part of the collective too, right? That the minute you're aware of them, you get to insert a different energy into them, which begins to reconstruct them into something different. And yes, what Metatron said earlier is literally the minute you take conscious authority, you start to reorganize the geometry of emotional energies, which reorganizes the way matter is, the way it appears. It's really cool. Great question, by the way. Thank you so much. Question from Tanya. I was offered to work with an aggressive kid. I declined because I strongly felt it would not be good for me at this time. Have had to deal with a lot of aggressiveness in the past. Any thought? Well, this is a really good question, Tanya. And when you're dealing with another human being in another individualized physical body, you're dealing with an individual that has a creative power of their own. They can influence emotional energy of their own. And from the perspective of anger, there's a certain kickback, there's a certain reward in anger, there's a certain reward in love. You want to transmute emotional energy in another being, you need to really get strong in your vibration of love. If you're trying to force the individual to change, it's not going to work. But if you're dealing specifically with the emotional energy, where you're communicating literally an absolute unbreakable love towards that individual, their energy, to their emotion, they'll feel it. And if you want to try to take on some simple tests for that, go around to where you see people looking unhappy, and just at a distance, just move into a state of love and offer that vibration of love to them. Literally, just go any place where you see people that aren't very happy, and just get into a vibration of love, and just let yourself quietly radiate that out towards them. Don't even have to let them see you, but radiate that love towards them and sustain that vibration towards them, and watch what happens. Watch what happens around you. In our courses and classes, we take people through a process where you can actually go out, sit in a public place and move into a state of love and watch how things change around you. So deliberately getting clear on the emotional energy you're going to be using to create a different outcome with is very important. Very, very important. Question from Maths Lowland. Maths Andreas Lowland. Wonderful question. Thank you so much. Is there any message for me? Metatron is saying for you specifically, to reside in the cube behind the heart. It's a rotating mechanism behind the heart. And then once you feel yourself in the energy behind the heart, he's saying you will tap into source energy. For you, behind the heart will bring you into source energy. When you feel that energy increasing, bring the geometry, bring this system into the physical heart. It is important you experience the vibration and the geometric configuration behind the heart first, before you bring it forward into the heart. I'm referring to your physical heart. You bring the vibration and the geometry when you feel it, then bring it into the physical heart. This will enable you to download it into the space and time around you. Be patient in the process. You may need to repeat it multiple times until you can maintain the connection in the physical heart without having to reconstruct it. But I ask you to do this because it is important you not try to do this from within the biology of the heart at this time. You want to bring the energy into the biology of the heart and become aware of that process, so that these non-dimensional realms of that aren't in the physical world will bring these energies in. You can bring these other energies in to this physical dimension by becoming familiar with how to bridge them from the non-physical realms into this one. Go slowly and mindfully. The experience of the movement, the experience of your movement in bringing energy into the configuration, and then the geometric configuration into the form, the awareness of that is how you'll understand the process, and why it is I suggest you to bring that which is interdimensional down into form. There is a process. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for that, Mathis. Thank you, Maria. I really appreciate that. Hello, Victorious. This is so important. How to deal with the collective minds. It's there right now. Most people are on the verge of waking up, and they know something's not right. And it's not that something's not right. Something that is right is coming to the mind that's beyond what they know. And everybody deals with what they don't know differently. Yes. Yeah, my guardian angel John is saying people that are faced with the unfamiliar will run to the familiar. They'll run to fear. They'll run to what they're familiar with. And most of you in your physical bodies are used to fight and flight all the time. And so you avoid dealing with the real issue, which is changing the emotional energy. Question from Laughter. What is the best way for me to respond to a distressed neighbor? Before you, it's not about responding to the distressed neighbor. It's getting into a vibration of love and joy before even communicating with them, center yourself in love and joy. Center yourself in love and joy and compassion. Compassion. And give that to them before you even step out your door, before you even lay eyes on their physical being. Give that to them. Give that to them and then approach them. When you feel that they are receiving that, then you go and approach them physically. Remaining in that energy, you will be quite surprised at what will occur when you are not dealing with them from a one-on-one basis immediately, but you are essentially establishing the relationship with their soul by communicating from energy first, which organizes matter. You communicate from energy first. You direct the love, the joy, the compassion, the peace. You direct that energy first to the situation. Then you've made it ready. Then you go forward. Then you go into the space. Then you will see the difference. And the more you practice this, the more effective you will become. The more effective you will become at creating conditions before you even arrive in them. They will already be done. It will already be done. Thank you. Great question, by the way, Laughter. Question from Lauren. What is my connection to owls and birds in general? But I'm getting several different answers. I get this nature being. I don't know who she is, but she says you were often in the boughs of the trees, holding vigil. She's saying you often held vigil in the trees over others. Yes. And you find yourself in this lifetime now seeking to do the same thing with your humanity. The human kingdom is what needs your vigil now, your light, your joy, your love. Yes. There's something else she's saying. I can't quite make this out, Lauren, but it's like something about something above that you bring below now, that the other life did not allow you to bring that into this world. Now you may bring this this wisdom in. She's saying, go to the forest. Go to the forest. And she's saying to look up more than around. Look up. Look up. Okay. So she wants you to do that. When you get a chance, Lauren, go to a forest. I don't know if you have a forest nearby you, but look up as opposed to looking around. I don't. She's just saying you will see. She will see. She will see. Cool. Well, every single soul on this planet, someone just made a comment here, Skyheart. It is exciting. Everyone is literally being awakened, whether they are aware or not. This anxiety and this fear and all this stuff, it's an increased excitation of energy. It's an increased excitation of energy. And as we get more closer to what we really are as a consciousness, the body and mind react to things that they don't understand with fight or flight. That's just the way they're hardwired together. You know, when people start to learn to meditate and start to train their body to be subjective to who they are as an awareness, we won't find ourselves governed by fear so much. But yeah, everybody's awakening. It's really exciting. Watch this happen. Varying degrees. Even those, yeah, it's a cosmic alarm clock going off right now. Question from Love Doggies. Is there a message for me? I just, this is weird, but somebody's saying there's something you need to eat something sweet today. Somebody just said, tell them to eat something sweet today. I don't know what it is. What is that? What? Yeah, they're saying to eat something sweet. Yeah, it's not my brain immediately went to things like chocolate and stuff, but but that's my past programming, right? No, they're saying you need to eat something sweet. Dates. You need to eat something sweet to dates. What dates do? Yes. If you can get some raw pitted dates, eat some dates. But they're saying you need something sweet today. I don't know why they're saying that, but you need something sweet. Interesting. Question from Kenyanga. I apologize if I didn't Kanilanga. Question: how do I best support people whose beliefs appear to differ or contradict mine? I don't know who this person is, but they're saying there's no need to sacrifice nor suppress yours in your own heart, but do not deny theirs, nor accept them as your own, but respect them. Your willingness to be in a place of kindness and understanding when you see that what they know is detrimental to them, or that it impedes them from understanding the truth, you may simply have compassion for them. It is not your job to convince them at this time, for there are many that will begin to see the truth. If they cannot see it, they will feel it, and they will come to you. They will come to many of you as you begin to liberate yourself from your attachment of others having to be different in order for you to be free. You do not need anybody to be different in order for you to be free. You are already free. Can you establish that truth? That your freedom does not depend upon the assertion of others' beliefs or the acceptance of them. You simply have to understand what you know that you do not know and liberate yourself from what you know. You do not need to be attached to what they have to say or believe. Just know your own truth and let your own truth set you free. You do not have to make them change. The evidence of your values will create a contrasting experience and expression that they can learn from. If you live by your truth fully, then the conditions of your life will reflect that. And if your life is a noble life filled with joy and excitement and fulfillment and happiness, then others will come to you and say, how may I have this? Yes. And then you may offer them what you know. But until they are hungry, do not try to feed them. Until they are thirsty, do not try to give them drink. Great question. Thank you. Wow. Question from Nathan. What is my connection with Vishala? Wow. Immediately joy. I don't know why. Your connection with this one is joy. Absolute joy. In your joy, this one will come through you. They will come through you as easily as we come through this one. But in the spirit of joy will this be allowed. It is only in that frequency that it will flow freely. Even in the speaking of their name, in the speaking of this name, you can feel the liberation. And in joy, you allow it to flow completely freely. When you speak, when you speak my name, feel. Cool. Thank you. Well, thank you, Lauren. I really appreciate that. You're welcome. Hi, Ruth. Welcome. Question from Laughter. Does the image and structure of a rose in my heart work differently than other structures like the Star of David? Yes, absolutely. He's saying absolutely. Different geometries will always produce different processes of organizing emotional energy, time, space, and matter. These symbols that you see are representatives of qualities of energy that you are bringing down into form. The reason that I chose to use geometry as my mechanism for teaching to others in this dimension is geometry is very precise, and it organizes matter very precisely. It organizes energy very precisely. When you understand this, then whether you see the image of a rose in your heart, which is a very precise and wondrous geometric configuration, when you allow yourself to go deliciously into it fully and completely, you'll be quite enamored with your experience of that, versus that which you call the Star of David, which is not a flat image. You must understand that geometries in the creative process are not simply one or two dimensional images. They are multidimensional and multifaceted in nature. The level and degree in which you see that image is the level and degree at which you are allowing that dimensional information to be communicated to you. The Star of David is not simply a Star of David, it is a very profound geometrical information system that when you allow yourself to perceive it in its fullness, the amount of information and ideation and energy that you can bring through will alter according to the depth of your perception in this. Cool. Thank you so much. Great question. Oh, you're very welcome, dear. Question from Tanya. Has my ex, oh wow, thank you for doing that. Made a good transition. Yes, he has and is. No, there is no more of that. He's saying there is no more of this. I am free of this. I will return with what I know now. This contrast is so blissful. I will return. Yes. I asked him if he meant he's returning to you. He said, no, that does not mean returning to you. He's going to return. He's going to reincarnate because of the contrast he has from where he was and where he is. It's like absolute bliss. I mean, if you can feel what I'm feeling right now, it's literally like total bliss where you've been, I don't know if you, yeah. Anyway, he's very happy with the contrast, and he's going to take that into another lifetime and create very different things than he did in this one. But great joy and love to you. Great joy and love to you. And he's not meaning that specifically, but it may be heard this way. But great joy and love to you, to all. Wow. So that's where he is right now. He's recognizing the necessity and the value in extending love to all. It's funny, the pain and suffering that he experienced, we get to be liberated. We get to experience a contrast. When you step out of I don't know if you've ever gone into a hot sauna and you step outside and you can feel the contrast. It's amazing. It's a wondrous thing. and that's what we experience when we live in these physical bodies. We get lost in matter, and then we step out of matter and we go into a different state of being, literally, and we have a huge contrast. It's a huge learning process. Like hot and cold are contrasts. Wow, thank you so much. I want to thank all of you. Let me just take a moment to thank all of you just for your questions, for coming out, showing up, and asking questions. The joy that you bring to the lives of the beings that you connect to, whenever you think about them, this is in regard to your question about Sabrina. Whenever you turn your attention to these ones, you give them back awareness of self. A lot of people don't realize this. When they told me this a while back, that when you leave your body, if you do not know who you are, if you do not know that you're not your mind and not your body, when you leave the body, you become unconscious, like going to sleep at night. A lot of people don't remember their dreams. You wake up and you wake up. We've become so attached, so addicted to our bodies and our minds and our thoughts being the reference point for our personal identity, that when we leave the body and mind, it happens in meditations all the time, people leave the body and go, I fell asleep. No, you didn't fall asleep. But that reference point we get so attached to it that when we leave it, we don't know that we are. We lose our reference point for self. That's why learning to recognize your mind and body are not who you are. You are the awareness. You are the awareness that works through a mind and works through a body. From the perspective of awareness, you can find yourself still in a conscious place of awareness outside of matter. So she wanted me to communicate that to you. She's grateful for every time you have communicated your thoughts and wonderment about her. You are reminding her that she still exists outside of matter. And this is true for so many. When you're thinking about your grandmother or grandfather, when they leave the body, most humans up to this point have not been able to remember that they still exist outside of the identification of body-mind, right? And it's so important while you're in that body to learn to remember who you are. Man, know thyself. You're not that body. You use the body. You're not the thoughts. You have thoughts. You aren't the emotions. They're energy you create with. You are a cosmic being, an awareness, a multidimensional being that works experiencing and creating through time, space, and matter. When you become aware of that truth, you can liberate yourself from being exclusively lost in the body and mind, lost in matter, right? What does it profit a person to gain the whole world but lose their own soul, right? So that in reverse, that means to regain your soul, which is awareness of thought, awareness of mind, awareness of body. I'm not these things, but I have these things. I can move my awareness to any part of the cosmos or any part of the world. Once you're liberated from your body, you can actually start to enjoy life, your creative process. And when you can enjoy your creative process, then when the form ends, you're not going to be like, oh, I don't want to die. You're going to be like, wow, what's next? Right? Cool. Great question. Thank you for that. Yes. Question from Jana. I dreamed I made it out of a strong sea current back to the shores just in time. What is the message in this? What should I pay more attention to? Great question, Jana. Emotion is an ocean of energy. Emotion is an ocean of energy, right? Your emotion is the limitless energy of cosmic creating stuff. It's important you understand emotion is energy in motion, and you can send it in motion. You can pause it. You can make it positive. You can make it negative. But the fact that you swam in the ocean and you came back to shore just in time indicates that you're now moving into a position where you can deliberately and intentionally begin to create and alter your experience of time and space through the deliberate use and articulation of emotional qualities deliberately placed in time space. Yes. Metatron saying, understanding you're at the very beginning now. Do not be afraid of that energy. Learn how to use it. You can now learn to begin to create and re-articulate the geometry of your experience. For all of you in those physical bodies are experiencing living geometry. You're experiencing living geometry that is set in motion by your awareness, consciously or unconsciously. It is better you become conscious of this truth, that you can change an emotional energy and reorganize it so that the geometry of its manifestation changes. And that geometry can be things called money or cars or buildings, or they can be poems, or they can be jobs, they can be tools. You organize emotional energy into very precise manifestations. Great question. Right. Oh yes, one more question. I just want to see here. SJK, there we go. Thank you. So SJK, I did get your message yesterday and the answer is yes. So I've just made that adjustment. You'll probably notice that you have certain options in the comment section beside other people that you can work with. I'll send you an email today. Question from any advice for me regarding my relationship with my boyfriend? Wow. Stubborn, is he? Yes. The knowledge that you have, as it seems to be typical in the female species in this world, where you have a deeper knowing of the implications of thoughts and actions more so than many men, as men have been tended to deal with the physical world as if it is a greater reality than the non-physical one. For this one, it is important you not surrender your truth, your understanding, and your knowledge to try and maintain some semblance of comfort in the relationship. In his case, discomfort would be a benefit, especially in the light of your truth, if it is sound. If what you know is true and you know it to be so, then you must be steadfast in this until he receives it or he does not. But either way, you must never surrender what you know to be true. And also, there is the reality that if this process of growth and change that you are in will necessitate a change in your relationship, if you are aspiring to be the best that you wish to be in your creative process, then your creative process will reflect that around you so that even your relationships will change. They have no choice. You cannot remain in a state of stasis if you are initiating change. If you are constantly growing and changing, then the world around you will reflect that. Do not let yourself be held back by the change, but be inspired by it. Remember also that love is far more effective at bending an ear than is anger. Wow. Don't often get questions like that. Thank you so much. We're going to take one more question there, I think, from Kelly. If I have forgiven, cleared, and sent someone from my past to move on with love, how can I keep their high selves from continually coming to me? I love and forgive them, but want them to go. When you have let them go, you have let them go. They will not occupy a space in your mind any longer. When you have let them go, you will have let them go. They will not occupy a space in your mind any longer. It is like driving down the road and you see the telephone poles as you drive by them. Well, you don't look back at them. There's just, you pass them and they are gone. When you have let them go, you will have let them go. It will not be a concern anymore, but you must release them from your perception. For whatever you hold in mind, you hold in your life. Do not hold your anger, your fear in your mind, or you will hold it in your life. Do not hold anything in your mind that you do not wish to be in your life in this world, this material realm. And it is true of any realm that what we hold in our consciousness, we hold in our experience of being too. Cool. Thank you for that, Kelly. That's a great question. I want to oh, you're very welcome, everybody. So remember to like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share this information out with other people. Remember, there's so much collective energy being released from the human collective unconsciousness right now. And how do you deal with it? When you become aware, you're walking along, suddenly you start feeling frustrated or angry. Remember to differentiate between collective energies and yours. You are a transmuter of energy. You can change emotional energy from one state to another when you're aware, when you become aware of the fear. So like last night when Norma said, "Can you feel that?" I said, "Yeah, I can feel that." And she said, "We need to really stay centered in love." So we did. We chose to stay centered in love. And our choice to stay in that energy affects the energy that we were picking up, the collective anger that we were aware of coming in from the world. Literally, the minute you align yourself to a certain emotional quality, it starts to organize the manifestations of time, space, and matter. What Metatron calls, it starts to organize the geometry of matter. So choose love. When you find yourself picking up fear and guilt and shame collectively, or even from within yourself, move to love. Change the geometry of those energies so that you change their expression in your world. Thank you. That is all. So everybody have a wonderful, joyful day. Thank you, Lord Metatron. Thank you, John. And thank you, those other beings that came by. And thank you, Sabrina. I appreciate that as well. Yes. This is worth reviewing again for those of you that want to understand how to assist those that have left your lives, that you want to connect with people who have left their physical form. Re-listen to this again. I want to wish you all much love, a joyful, wondrous day, and we'll see you on Friday for Shortcuts for Your Soul. Yes, I got two beings that will be coming in on Friday. Master Jesus will be one. And we'll see you then. Much love, everybody. Bye for now.